Go for it.
On this episode of Cafecito, we are joined by professional skater, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and proud papa, Paul Rodriguez Jr., aka P-Rod.
Everything you always wanted?
Yeah. The 12-year-old version of me would have gone crazy if I ever knew this was gonna happen.
Can you tell me a little bit about the first time you skated, the first time you fell in love with the sport?
I was just gonna turn 12 years old, and there was just a group of skaters at school, and they would skate in the parking lot. I just would watch them after school and just get stuck there and zone out and watch these kids skate, and they would flip their boards, and I couldn't understand how they did it, and it was so fascinating to me that I had to learn how to do it. And so for that Christmas, I told everybody, just give me some money so I can save up and buy my own skateboard, and that was it. I was hooked.
Oh my God. Oh, that was so dope.
Thank you.
By 14, you had a sponsor.
Yeah.
16 or so, right? You were already turning pro.
Yeah.
Now, you made a tough choice at that time, right? Like, you left school, you went pro. How'd that go down with your parents? Was there a lot of heat on you?
Well, at the time for me, it wasn't tough. I knew what my decision was. It was tough to convince, my mother to allow me to do home studies. Around 1999, 14, I started getting free boards. This company started hooking me up, and I turned amateur for a company called DNA Skateboard. So it was showing my mom something was happening, there was traction here. After being relentless about it, she eventually allowed me to do home studies. And from there, it just helped accelerate my skate career, because every day I could just dedicate to just skating.
Now, you got your first gold medal in the X Games when you were 19. First skater to get your own signature shoe with Nike, right?
Yeah.
What was it like, all that success? And did you get any flack from the skating culture,
Yeah, at first, when I first decided to leave a core skate shoe company and go to Nike, for sure people, you started hearing the word sell out, and a lot of people, they had something to say, but it's my life. I was so young and maybe naive in a lot of ways, but thankfully I decided to go through with it.
You have your own companies. What kind of advice do you have for Latinos, young people out there who are trying to be successful in business?
You gotta have a vision for yourself and know where you want to take something. From the beginning of skateboarding, I knew I didn't want to just be a kid who got sponsored. I wanted to be like my favorites, Eric Costa, Andrew Reynolds. These were guys who I aspired to mold my career after. If you're a kid and you want to go to the NBA, most likely you're inspired by LeBron or Kobe. You want to be at that higher level, so I just studied what they did on the board and off the board. My favorite skaters, they had ended up starting their own companies, and I've been fortunate to be around a lot of successful business people that it's always been in my frame of mind. My dad was successful in his world. My stepmom, she's a very successful businesswoman, so I'm on my way working on it.
Speaking of being involved, you also give back to the community. You have a skate park named after yourself in Pacoima. Why is it important for you to provide places for kids to skate and hang out?
There's so many days as a kid that we've spent looking for somewhere to skate and not being able to skate because everywhere we go, somebody's kicking us out or calling the cops or taking our boards. So when you have a designated place, you can finally just focus on practicing your skateboarding without any interruption, any distraction. We're all still street skaters, and we all still decide to go skate in the streets, but there are some downfalls to that. Kids have energy. They're gonna spend it one way or another. At least you wanna help provide a positive option.
Could you talk a little bit about that crossroads that people don't really get into, but you're right there, the Mexican-American and Latino influence on skating culture?
Well, I'm blessed, and there hasn't been too many of us in the skating culture until recently, but probably the most well-respected Trans World magazine named him the #1 most influential skater of all time would be Mark Gonzalez. I'm grateful to be a part of the generation where skateboarding is starting to break open into mainstream culture, and I'm glad to be a part of that generation that's kind of helped move it there. And I can't wait to see all the new upcoming next generation of Mexican skaters, you know what I mean? So, and it's gonna be a lot of them, because especially out here in LA, that's almost at all these public skate parks you go to, it's the majority is all Mexican. You go to the Pacoima one, it's almost all Mexican kids there, so it's great. I can't wait to see the next generation of these talented kids.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you. What's going on? This is Paul Rodriguez Jr., aka P-Rod, and you're watching Cafecito on NBC Latino.